Good afternoon, everybody. It's 3:31 p.m. and I am Attorney Danyl Patterson, candidate for state rep in the 190th Legislative District here in Pennsylvania. Today we have a special guest joining us in just a minute, and that is Charlotte Greer Brown of the Elite. I'm sorry, the Elite 30 Associates. Actually, she's going to tell you I get that wrong every single time, and I wrote it down. But she's a community activist, and she's going to tell you what it's like being a community activist and trying to be on the front lines when you really can't be on the front lines. So first, though, I tell you all the time that we're trying to actually bring some good news to you. So I have to wish my friend Paris Smith a happy birthday. Yes, Paris, I actually am following what's going on. So happy birthday out there in Chi-Town. I know that you are doing it up in the house. So I'm sure you've been on La Balcony and you're going to make yourself to a la kitchen and all of the rooms of the house as you celebrate your birthday to death. As I always say, let me know if anything's going on that's special to you and yours because we like to celebrate you. So I'm going to bring Charlotte in right now. Hi, Charlotte.
Hi, good afternoon. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. Can you introduce yourself to everyone, please?
So, hello, good afternoon for all those people who've been sheltered in. My name is Charlotte Greer Brown. I'm the founder of the Elite 30 Association and Coalition, and I'm a community activist on the front line, working hard for my Philadelphians.
Well, tell us exactly what is Elite 30, because
So,
I done mangled it a few times.
it started back 2 years ago. I saw the lack of collaboration between small businesses and nonprofit organizations, especially black owned and African American nonprofits. They really did not have a connection with each other. So the 30 comes from the 30 organizations that I work with and collaborated with throughout the city of Philadelphia. So we are the Elite 30 Association and Coalition. So it's a coalition. It's not a nonprofit. It's not a for profit or it's not a business. It's a group of people who come together to make change.
30
So
different organizations. Can you just give is there a general theme? Can you name a few?
yes. So I didn't even prepare to do that. So I will tell you some of my community partners. I have Broken Wings Literacy, Natasha Harris, Ernie Bristow. She's a part of the Elite 30. She's a Elite 30 member advisor. Shay Monroe, a women's life to journey. A journey is like a woman's to. I think it's a woman's journey to life, and
Okay.
have people like oh man, it's so many people. I can't even begin. Oh, don't let me forget. Uh, homeless. Your A-OK Foundation, where she has the Take It to the Streets feeding program. So she's a partner of ours as well. School Stop Killing Us, Jamal. Yes, there are so many people to name. I can't even think off the top of my head, but this is 30 of us who come. And you know what? When we come together as a collaborate, we don't really focus on the name of our organizations because we look at ourselves as one. So you'll see a lot of that happening.
So it's definitely a we, not me kind of
They,
organization.
and we express that. We focus on that. We will be. A lot of us are very vocal. Each one of
Mhm.
us in our space. Respect ourselves. We respect each other's spaces, and we also respect that we all have a job to do, and we just come together to make sure that job gets done.
Well, let me tell you that that is fascinating. One of the biggest problems that we have here in Philadelphia is the kind of idea that there's not enough of the pie to go around. I don't know if you see that all the
Yeah,
time. It's that
yeah.
instead of saying it as one big pie and we can all share in, instead it's like we are relegated to this one little slice of the pie and we're all fighting for that. And so as a result, there's not enough for everybody because instead of just saying, okay, there's this whole pie and we're going to make it for the benefit of everybody. Instead, we're all going to fight over the one slice. And one slice is not enough to feed everybody, you know?
Mm. Oh, so now you're touching on my activism right there. So I'll just say a little bit of that, and I don't know what happened.
There you go. You
I'll
still there.
just say Okay, I'll just say a little bit of that and I'll leave that alone. It's systemic. It's systemic, and we have an opportunity to break it. So from what I'm seeing, what I'm viewing, without giving this whole euphoric feel, I see some of these things changing slowly but surely due to some of the things that are happening now, like COVID-19.
Well, let's talk about COVID-19. So, how you actually came on my radar, we were actually randomly met. There you go at a forum. And when I saw a picture, I'm like, I know you. So there's that. But we kind of met on a Facebook post. And I just thought
Right.
it fascinating because you were actually giving kind of the other side of a situation that was going on out here in West Philly. So that immediately and definitively impacts the community that I would like to serve in an official capacity instead of just an unofficial one. Can you tell us about that, please?
So before I get into that, because a lot of people, I'm in North Philadelphia,
Mhm.
love North Philadelphia. With the coalition, we started to venture off citywide. So we are concerned about all of the matters throughout the city of Philadelphia. So it doesn't matter if it's north, northeast, south, southwest, West Philly, wherever it is. I get a phone call for something that's happening, and if I'm not able to have to deal with the issue on hand directly, I forward it to my community partners. So I just wanted to just say that for the record. So I had one of my people who I will remain keep them anonymous, who called me very very infuriated this morning because they were outside in a line at the 5900 block of Lancaster, waiting for food. As a matter of fact, this particular, I think it was something ministries. Don't quote me
Okay,
on it,
that's
but
okay.
ministries where there was food being given out. And prior to that, there was a flyer or information that was given out that they will be giving food promptly at 10 o'clock a.m. Well,
Today, or was this
yes,
previously?
yes.
Okay.
So day comes, which is today at 10 o'clock, people begin to arrive and the food was gone. And I'm like, okay, so it's like 2, 3 minutes past 10. How did all of that food leave at 2, 3 past 10? Come to find out, since you and I have spoken, it was a confidential message that was sent to me of a conversation where the person who was given this food drive apologized because people were standing in line early. They decided to give it out early. Therefore, the ones that
Oh, okay.
yeah, so they admitted that they did that, and why I say it's irresponsible on that person's behalf is because this person is a leader, in our community, and they, as well as everyone, know we are taking this COVID-19 very serious. And from my understanding, there were lines wrapped around the building. There was no social distancing in place. No one was making people consciously aware to be 6 feet apart. There were babies and children. And you know what I told you, Danielle. My concern was that area in particularly has to be a hot spot for COVID-19, which we all saw on the map today. So
Well, let's back up a little bit and we're going to talk about that. I'm going to interrupt you. So, one of the comments that I've been trying to really bring forth is about specifically what makes up the 190th. Okay. Like a lot of people don't know what it is because, like, the 190th, what's that? So,
okay.
it's a couple things. First of all, I applaud you for working across these district lines and those things because honestly, Philadelphians in general have all of the same problems and concerns and need the same access. Maybe not to the same level in some communities as others, but in general, we're all concerned about education. We're concerned about the violence. We're concerned about our health care. We're concerned about our seniors, and we're concerned about making ends meet. That's pretty much life in Philadelphia. That's pretty much life anywhere to some degree. So that's one. But what was interesting is that, and I've really been talking to folks, is that as leaders, we have to lead by example. And we've got to be able to show that we're willing to do the right thing, even when it's not the best thing for us personally,
Yes.
especially when we understand what our demographics are. And so this is why this is important. So we see this map, right? And
Yes.
the 190th, what we know on the map for the cases that we've had in Philadelphia, and so I'm going to give you some statistics. In Philadelphia, right now, we have 1,072 confirmed cases of COVID. That's not how many cases we have. That's how many tests that we have had that have come back positive. Now, you know that we're behind the eight ball, even having gotten started with the testing. Okay. We know that we also have 4,000 cases statewide. So Philadelphia itself makes up 1/4 of the population that's actually impacted with COVID in Pennsylvania. Now that's important because that little map that they show on CNN and that we get in the update from our PA Health Department shows that Pennsylvania actually went from yellow, which was middle risk, to dark red, which is the highest risk. We're at the same level of confirmed cases that New Jersey, New York are as well now. So, so there were those people who were feeling very confident because Pennsylvania is sitting right in the middle. Well, we're not impacted. But where are we being impacted? The darkest red on that map are 19131, 19139, 19143, and then 19129, which is South Philadelphia, Southwest South Philadelphia. But three of the top five, and then after that, I'm sorry, is 19104. So 4 of the top 5 are actually all in the 190th. Well, why is that? It's because we have, unfortunately, a population that necessarily does not have access to healthcare. We have a population that does not necessarily have access to green space. So that's another thing. We're sitting, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that saw all the videos about folks. It was going down at the Platte. It got a little bit warm. People are housebound. It's not like there's a lot of green space for us to get out into to go for our walk. They're still playing ball. All these things are still happening. So what we have to do is that we've got to lead by example. Because on the other side of that population, what we also have is a large senior population. We have a large population of those very people who are the most vulnerable to this disease. Now, I know they're saying that, yes, people of all ages are catching it, and that is actually true. But what we know is of the 9 cases of deaths that we have had in Philadelphia, of the 9, 6 of them are from nursing homes. So in Philadelphia. So that means that they are coming from the most vulnerable of populations. Well, the 190th is full of senior centers and full of nursing homes. We have got to protect them from us. So one of those things that we have to do is, we can't have a food line wrapped around the corner and there's no social distancing. I go to the Home Depot and they've got the signs out as to where you can stand and only so many people can be in the store at a time. So I know you're seeing that, Charlotte.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people say before you call the police or before you call 911, think about this because we don't want to put people in awkward situations or to be detained and be exposed, to COVID-19 or those who may have it and don't know it. So, there is an option to call 311 and which I did today. I told you, I was on making my calls and doing the reporting because something that I did not mention when those people who left that food drive went to another one on the 1700 block of 52nd Street, so it made it even crowd. Listen, the point is today specifically and yesterday in those areas, people have been out barbecuing, playing basketball. I mean, doing all types of things. It is like nothing is happening. Disregard the social distancing. And as I said before, it's really frustrating and upsetting when you have community leaders who know better and they are not doing their best to make sure our families or their constituents are safe.
Well, let me
And
just follow up here. So you just told us that not to call the police, that there are actually options. So people don't even know that there's actually a hotline and things set up right now. So if you see businesses that are in violation of social distancing or that, like they have they're still letting folks sit in the restaurant and eat, or they're not practicing social distancing, that there's actually a hotline that you can call. Is that correct?
so you call 311 through the city of Philadelphia. And what you do is you make there's gonna they're gonna come on. Just listen to all of the options until someone to a representative come on, and then you can opt out to share your information. You don't have to share your information, or you can if you like to. And but in this case, I share my information because I want them to know it was me. Okay? But anyway, there.
Never be afraid to
This,
have the
there
courage of
you
you. You should
go.
always have the courage of your convictions, as our mother would say.
Thank you. Why am I a community activist if I'm going to hide behind the scene? I'm on the front line. We can't do that. But anyway, what do that speak to people who wants to tell these things and may be afraid? So call 311 and they will take it. And I suggest that you give them an email so that you can keep an update on what's happening, because that wasn't the only thing I reported today. I reported businesses as well. And I try to give people options, and I give them a choice. I go there 2 or 3 times just to see. I don't walk in. I just ride by and I just see. And then I'm like, okay, after a while, you're more about your money, not about the safety of our community.
Well,
Okay.
let's talk about that. So you said you reported businesses as well. What did you
Oh, yeah.
report the businesses for?
So one of the businesses that I reported was in North Philadelphia. It was a beer, I think it was a beer distributor, off of 23rd Street in Allegheny. And what I actually saw for the second day in a row, when they first opened this place, they go inside. No, they go inside. There's a long line. Okay, and it was between 11 and 12 o'clock. And then I'll sit
PM
there
or AM?
at
Like, what?
AM.
Okay. Hmm.
11 a.m., 12 p.m., well, noon. And I see the person open up the store. I guess the person that works there, don't know if it's the owner or not, goes in, hurry up and do whatever they have to do, come out probably 2 minutes later, and and start letting people in the store in that line. And I'm like, okay, I thought you were supposed to at least let a few people in at a time. They are neck to neck, not 6 feet apart. No one's, see, this is the problem with me, Attorney Danielle. This no one outside saying 6 feet apart. Please remember social distancing, or have some hand sanitizer. I don't care. Listen, if it seems extreme, it seems extreme. But at least act like you know what's happening. And the same thing that's happening with this beer distributor is happening to other places like Walmart, Save a Lot in the Logan area. Every time I'm there, I told my husband, he's like, "Well, what you didn't come back with nothing?" I said, "Because I wasn't walking in there.
Well,
These
you know
stores."
what though? This is the thing. So it's very reminiscent of like the abandoned cars on the street, like in the summertime, because y'all all know. So we went right from like, the tax return cars to being, quarantine. That's pretty much it went just like
Right.
that. So now the summertime will come and the quarantine, the lemon, the tax income tax check cars will now break down sometime in the summer, and then folks want to move and they start calling 311. And I always see the backlash, like, well, who are you to be calling? I can't believe so and so called about this car, or that's not bothering you. And then it's like, so you shouldn't use 311. And then we complain that our tax dollars don't work for us.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the same thing. So your tax dollars are 311, and they actually respond to a whole much more than those cars. So
Yes.
311 is who you call about the potholes.
Right.
311 is who you call about business violations and establishments. 311, you don't have to call L&I. You call 311 when you see food inspection issues. They actually send everything everywhere else. We spend a lot of money to make sure that we have this 311 line. It's manned. There's a 311 app. So you can just do it, straight from your phone. You don't have to actually talk to anybody. But come
Right.
on, we're not doing anything. Everybody wants to talk to that. People will answer the phone about anything right now. Okay, they will. So you actually have those options. But for me, there's actually more than just, I know that we're small businesses, and what we don't want to see is small businesses end up getting shut down. Let's talk about this. Right now, today, Governor Wolf, probably about 35 minutes ago at this point, just came out, and we are now indefinitely in our coronavirus sequestration period. That we know it's at least till April 30th, but he actually said it's indefinite. So all that meant, for anybody who doesn't understand, because I had to look into this so I understood. So the indefinite means that they're not going to come every 3 days or 5 days and tell us to extend your stay in place order, because it's not effective at this point. So then it's like, and it's kind of, one of my lawyer groups, we talked about this morning, because they were like, well, so does that mean I got to like call all my clients and tell them I'm open, or then in 3 days call them and tell them not? No, that means that we know that until April 30th, at the very earliest, that nothing's going to happen. But at around April 30th, we'll get our next phase steps. Are we doing better? Have we finally, reached a plateau and, we've killed the curve enough that we can start going back to our, regularly scheduled business? So that's what that means. But we also know this. Our kids have been told there is no more school in the state of Pennsylvania indefinitely. We know that. We know that our businesses are closed indefinitely. That unless you are life sustaining, that you're not going back to work. And we also know that they've actually cut down on the waivers on what was considered life sustaining. So there was actually a whole bunch of waivers granted, and now they're taking those waivers back. So basically, it's kind of like my mom used to tell me as a kid, if you can eat it or wear it, then that was pretty much what was taxed. We're pretty much there with what's considered life sustaining at this point. So now we have these small businesses, and I know they're struggling because my small business, my law firm, is going to end up struggling. Cases are not settling. Our clients can't come in. So I can only imagine, you have something like a restaurant that already has a small profit margin. It already does. And, what's going to happen with that. But you want to know who's, not been struggling is Bob's Crabs out there. So Bob's Crabs, they had a line out the wazoo. We even had the post office man in it. So the person bringing your mail was not social distancing. He was hanging out in the line, and now he came to bring your mail with the virus that we know can actually exist on paper. It can actually sit on paper for 24 hours. So that's all very scary. And everybody took videos of it. Everybody talked about how flabbergasted they were, but nobody called 311. It was the same with at the plateau. They were out there playing ball. They were playing baseball. They, doing the plateau hangout. And hey, I like the plateau hangout like anybody else. But you want to know who else liked the plateau hangout? Is DJ Jazzy Jeff. DJ Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Print, they invented the plateau hangout. And unfortunately today in an Instagram post, he kind of hinted that he has COVID-19. And so we need to take this seriously. Last week there was all this, well, do you know anybody that actually has it? Kind of like, it's like, if I don't know anybody that has it, it doesn't exist. That's kind of the attitude. So let me tell you, you may not know him, but you know DJ Jazzy Jeff. There are at least 5 hood celebrities that I know that I can count on Facebook. And y'all know what I'm talking about when I say hood celebrities. Those folks that every single body knows that have come back and tested positive for COVID-19. Okay. One of my cousins, my aunt called me today to tell me that my cousin has actually been moved to ventilator status. He has COVID-19. So my family is personally dealing with this. It is a crisis. So I'm going to challenge all you people out there to say, you have to be your brother's keeper right now. It's not some don't snitch society. It's not. This is really for the health and safety of us all. And even if you can't get on that one, I know I got some things I wanted to do this summer. I'm sure some of y'all did too. And I really don't want to just still be sitting in here and visiting La Balcony and sitting up in Costa Kitchen. I really want to go outside. Like, I want to go party. I want to see a beach. I want to do all those things too. I don't know about you. What about you, Charlotte?
Listen, I want to do all those things, but I want to be in good health, and I want everybody else to be in good health. I'm so ready, but I'm not gonna rush it. I'm excited to see so many people understand how it's happening, because in the beginning it was a struggle, even for me trying to get information out. And when I finished my Facebook lives, or I finished putting my information out there, oh, Charlotte, I don't believe it. This is hype, and everybody giving me their conspiracy theories and so forth. So I'm so happy about that. And I'm also happy with the thought of a future of us starting over afresh. But I want people to be safe. And that's my main concern right now.
Well, I just want to come out here to the comments some. So Benita Wilson, you were saying that you were so angry. So now I follow it. Okay, so you're angry about the folks at Bob's Crabs killing you. And then we have Bobby Edwards that just told me that he's not going back to work until September. School's actually done for the year. That's kind of scary, because I know that there are people who work in the schools, and not just the teachers, but who are not getting paid when schools are closed. So we've got, the folks that clean the schools or the teachers assistants that might necessarily be a part of the unions, and they're not getting paid. So, but guess who else has been impacted? We've got two county assistance offices in our area that are now closed because the staff, it's unsafe. They've actually, some of the staff has tested positive for COVID-19. Why is that important to you? That's important to you because emergency food stamps are now being held up. They were already working fairly remotely and understaffed. So now we need supplemental assistance, and that's being held up. We're going to actually have more and more applications because one of the purposes of Governor Wolf actually declaring a state of emergency was he also yesterday applied for federal emergency aid. Well, federal emergency aid is going to show up in your SNAP benefits. It's going to show up in your welfare benefits. It's going to show up in additional health care benefits. And if we don't have anybody to process those claims, then we've got another problem. In addition to the county offices being closed for cleaning, what else do we know? Everybody's relying upon Amazon to get us what we need. Well, in Staten Island today, the Amazon folks have walked out. They are striking. So why? Because they don't have access to health care. Somebody has tested positive in the factory. And then even when I reached out to when I reached out to Charlotte, she told me that one of our health suppliers, our food suppliers, is now in jeopardy. Can you tell us about that, Charlotte?
So most of you know that your AOK Foundation, which incorporation, which is one of our partners, we partner with them to take it to the streets feeding program, and we've been going through Caring for Friends, and Caring for Friends is a partner or works through Full Abundance. And I remember going to help pack food, and I'm like, Yanni, what's going on? She said, well, Full Abundance was shut down. And I'm like, well, why? And come to find out, one of the people who was just coming to get food tested positive for COVID-19. So that had to be shut down. And those type of cases and situations are happening rapidly, and they're not getting out to the community fast enough.
So tell me, Charlotte, can you give us some areas or some place where we can actually access this food?
So as of right now, I did well, we're not going to count Southwest Philadelphia. We're not going to count West Philadelphia right now at this time. But a lot of the people who was giving out food, I know there was something called Kids Meals on Wheels. I think it was Arik Barrett.
Okay.
Him and a partner of his has been giving out food. And I think they're online. So you can actually find that on Facebook, and you can just go into your search box and find that out, or either Google it. And they actually have a link where you have to register to tell them how many meals you want or need.
Well, let's do this, Charlotte. When we're done, how about you and I talk, and we'll add in the comments some of the resources that both of us can come up with. And I'll also tell everybody, one thing that you can always do is you can give us a call here at 267 291 4702. That's 267 291 4702 over at Danyl Patterson for State Rep. And we'll always connect you to resources and to help you to find what you need, be that a healthcare, be that some food assistance so that we are not having food insecurities, and to be that mental health care. So I'm going to challenge Charlotte to actually identify some of those. We'll put them right in the comments here, and some links so that we can find those, and everybody will have access to it, not just the people we're able to get through on the phone lines, because that's always some of the problem. It's like if we feel like the squeaky wheel only gets the oil, or we feel like only people who know somebody get service. So I want to say, you all know me, you all know Charlotte, you all had access to this Facebook Live, and we're going to tag some resources so you can get them right there. Now, I just want to close up, and I want to challenge you all. And when we talk about this responsibility and being our brother's keepers, I just told you that the vast majority of COVID-19 deaths have actually been in our nursing homes, right? We know this. We know that our senior facilities are at risk. In Washington State, the nursing homes were actually the start of the outbreak for COVID-19 and it spread statewide. These are individuals who don't have access to anything. Everything is brought into them and taken out with them. That means that the individuals who are coming to their facilities, who are coming to the senior homes, who are coming to the senior residences, who are coming to the nursing homes, are bringing this disease into them. And it's a hotbed because their immune systems are already weakened. Please, I challenge everybody. You know some people who are at risk in your community. Make sure that you check up on them. I'll tell you, I have 5 of my own, my neighbors who I've known forever. And I make sure that I call them every day, and they don't know how to use Peapod and they don't know anything about Amazon Fresh. They don't know anything about that, but they know they can call me personally. I want to challenge you to just check in on some of those seniors. If you can leave a box of some things on their steps, if you can help them sort through their mail, whatever it is they need that you can do directly for them, privately for them, because people have a lot of pride. And so this whole thing that it's like, that's always the hard part for me, to go
Yes.
stand in the line to ask for food. And, you swallowed some pride to do that. And then to
Yes.
be turned away in 5 minutes because we don't have any more, and that's got to be disheartening and frustrating. So I'm just going to ask everybody out there, check in on your neighbors. I tell you all the time that we can do better together. Charlotte, how do they contact you directly?
So you can always find me on Facebook, or you can always under the Elite 30 Association Coalition, or you can always contact me at 504 227, excuse me, 229 2071. That's 504 229 2071.
That's fabulous. Make sure that you find her on Facebook, and you can always give her a call. I see that Ari Burnett actually chimed in here in the comments, and he let us know how he can be reached.
Great, great. Thank
Facebook
you.
at Kids Meals on Wheels 215, Yanni Williams. Okay, I know these. I know some of these people. They. That's what I mean when Philadelphia is so small. I'm like, okay, yes. And sometimes you don't even know what the other what the all of the organizations that people are associated with, which is why it's so fabulous, Charlotte, that you're actually bringing the Elite 30 together. And we've got another, and I'll make sure that I tag you up here as well. So we've got Salima Muhammad, who's at Kids on Meal, Kids, I'm sorry, Kids Meals on Wheels 215 at Gmail. She's also given us a shout out and a contact information. So, and
Great.
we thank you both for that, because that's when it gets scary. We just don't know how. So that's really enough for today. I think I try to keep them to a half an hour so we can keep the conversation going afterwards. Please find me on Facebook at Danyl Danyl Patterson for the 190th at Facebook. It is Danyl for 190 at Gmail, and of course 267-291-4702, 267-291-4702. For any comments, concerns, questions, any way that you can show me how I can help you so that we can all do better together. This is Attorney Danyl Patterson, candidate for state rep in the 190th, and I'll see you tomorrow again at 3:30. Thanks, Charlotte.
You're welcome. Take care.